Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Topflight pod. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. Back on screen today, I'm with my G, my dog, football critic, Alex Anabria. How are you doing, brother? ¿Cómo estás? Welcome to the show.
I'm great, man. Great. Tomorrow, finally, we'll be seeing Austin FC playing again at Q2 Stadium after a long while, after a break. And I'm excited. I'm excited to finally be back playing MLS, seeing if we can actually get those much needed points for the playoffs. But happy to finally see the team back.
As B says, we're in the business side of the season, mate, and the playoffs are around the corner, and we're on the chase. You know, it's cool to say. I mean, it's cool and it's not cool because you'd like to be in a better position than what Austin FC is, but there's something exciting about being in the hunt for either the playoffs or being in the hunt for that top spot. And this season, the storyline for Austin FC is playoff chase, playoff hunt. So Coach Wolff mentioned it today in the media availability, or on Thursday, sorry. He said that there's multiple teams in Austin FC's position. There are 4 or 5 teams that are looking to get that spot, one of those final spots in the playoff picture. And that's something that we're going to talk about here tonight, of course, Alex, and also Champions League stuff, dude. I mean, just real quick, dude, before, without spoiling anything, what'd you think about that crazy draw?
It's kind of like it's a mess, but I think it'll be really entertaining.
100%. I think it is going to be it's going to bring a different element of emotion, different element of surprise, and hopefully different element of competition. And they say that it's
Yeah.
balanced out, but we're going to talk about that later on in tonight's show, me and my G football critic. But before we get into it, want to send a shout out to everybody that's on the Patreon, everybody that's on the Discord. Appreciate your support into it. So Alex, without further ado, let's react to the international call-ups that happened for Austin FC players. We're going to start off with Julio Cascante. Now, without spending too much time on my G Julio Cascante, I'm going to try to group him together with the likes of Alexander Svatok and Leo Weissenen. Why am I doing it? Well, it's because one's CONCACAF and the other two are UEFA, but it is Nations League, Alex, right? So important games for these guys and for their countries. However, it is not like Danny Pereira's World Cup qualifier. It's not like Bobosi's AFCON. They are Nations League games. So, Alex, your thoughts on Cascante, Weissenen, and Svatok getting called up? 3 guys that are maybe out of favor with their gaffer at their club team. I mean, they're not seeing any minutes, but hey, they're getting called up to their international team. Thoughts on that, mate?
Well, first of all, on Julio, I'm happy, especially because he continues to be called up for Costa Rica. And I like that because even though he only got a very few minutes late in the game at Q2 Stadium in Copa America, um, Alfaro left. He left to coach Paraguay. And with a new coach, Julio is still getting called up. And Julio gets called up after not playing last game. And to me, that just means that, like, hey, Julio is in the plans. He's being looked at. He's good enough for Costa Rica to have them there as an option. And I like that for our players, to be able to be part of that national team roster. When it comes to Leo, it's kind of the same. Leo hasn't been seeing them as many minutes, but he continues to be an option for Finland. And then Spatak. I mean, with that, I'm kind of disappointed, but just because we got to see him at the Euros, right? We got to see his fight against Lukaku against Belgium, and I really like how he played. We haven't seen him in Austin yet because he's not acclimating yet to the heat, to the Austin heat and whatnot. But he really seems like a promising player, and it's just a little bit disappointing that we see him, yes, called up, but in the reserves. So he's not even the bench itself right now. He's a little bit less than that. So it's disappointing, but I really hope we can see him in action in this international window.
100%, man. Now we haven't seen him for Austin FC, right? For the Verde and Black, but like you said, it's going to be exciting. Maybe we get some minutes from Svatok with his national team, and we'll be able to see just where he's at, right? We've heard Coach Wolff say that it's because of the heat, because of the environment here in Austin, Texas, that has made Svatok be the slowest player to get acclimated to the roster. Now, you hate to hear that, but hey, it is what it is. It's the reality right now, what Austin FC is going through with Alexander Svatok. But one other guy, mate, is Leo Weissenen. Now, right here we see that they play against Greece and they play against England, mate. He's going to go to Wembley. That's going to be very exciting. Now, Weissenen, September 7th at 1:45, and then September 10th at 1:45 again. Any thoughts on Leo joining Finland? I mean, just another guy that is not getting any minutes for his club, but getting called up by his country.
I just want to see him play, man. I mean, we have seen him before, and we know there are some doubts because he hasn't been the CB that we hoped he would be for the one we paid for. Like he hasn't been that he hasn't stand out that much, even though he has been injured too. Um, but hey, I mean, what better test to show what kind of player you have for your club than facing a team like England, So I just hope that he plays. I hope that we get to see him playing for his club and see what he's capable of so that we know how we can use them in the club too.
Now, Alex, out of these three guys, right? Julio Cascante with Costa Rica, Alexander Svatok with Ukraine, and Leo Väisänen with Finland. Who do you think sees more minutes in the matches that they're going to play here in early September?
It's kind of tough to say because, but particularly because Costa Rica changed coach. So we don't know how trusting is the new coach with Julio. Maybe more than Alfaro, maybe less. We don't know, but at the very least, he is getting called up. So without knowing that, I'm willing to bet on Leo because I think Leo has been the most consistent, even with his injuries, for Finland.
Interesting there with Leo. I'm going to pick Julio Cascante to see the most minutes from these three center backs, mate. Why do I say that? Well, because yes, there is a new coach. However, I think he's going to have to rely on what was already done by the previous administration in Costa Rica. So I see Julio Cascante maybe playing 90 minutes one of those two matches. And they don't play teams that you'd be like, oh, we need guys that are going to be 100% secure. You're playing against Guadalupe and against Guatemala. If you can't get the job done, then, mate, we have to talk, Julio. They do play in Costa Rica versus Guadalupe and then in Guatemala City versus Guatemala. So those two games will be exciting for Cascante. And Svatok, they play Albania and Czech Republic. Leo Väisänen, like we mentioned, they play Greece and England. I think Leo has the toughest fixtures, mate. That's why I'm not going to pick him to play the most minutes. You see what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, no, I see it, and I agree with you. The thing is, like, again, it's like just we don't know enough about Costa Rica with this new coach because before Copa America, we were scouting Julio how he was doing with Costa Rica, and he was playing the full games, right? He was starting, he was playing the whole 90 minutes. He was playing against teams like Grenada in the qualifiers, and we were like, okay, Julio is definitely going to start in Copa America. But then Alfaro in Copa America played a back line of five, in which Julio did not start at all. So it was like, and I got to speak to several Costa Rican media in the press box in that game at Q2 against Paraguay, and they told me it's not like Julio has done anything wrong or anything. It's just the scheme that Alfaro has been playing, and they have a really young center back that has been just amazing. So it really is about like, okay, so what is this new coach going to be? What his formation is going to pick? Like, if he's going to stick, like how you say, what Alfaro had been doing with a back line of five, or is he going to go to a back line of four and maybe choose Julio? I don't know. We don't know. But I definitely hope he does start like he was doing before Copa America.
Yeah, we'll see, mate. They did definitely change it up there in Copa America. Of course, you had to play Brazil first, so definitely things were going to have to be thrown out the window. When you're playing, of course, low sides like Grenada and other teams that they were playing in preparation for the Copa America, right? But hey, real quick, one guy that we got to talk about, Bobosi Villaruanga, made Austin FC 2-player, FCito guy. Now, they're actually enjoying a pretty good moment themselves. I believe they've won 3 on the skip. CJ Fodry, Jimmy, all those guys are having a really good time. They're enjoying their football, but you can't forget about Mr. Bobosi. Now, one of our most called up players, football critic, believe it or not, he's constantly getting called up by Uganda. And you must not forget that he did win the FUFA Men's Player of the Year award a couple years back. Now, they play South Africa September 6th at 11 a.m. And they play against the Congo at 11 a.m. on September the 9th, mate. So just real quick, any thoughts on Mr. Bobosi Villaruanga, mate? One of the most called up players that we've had. And he plays for FCito.
I know. This is a head scratcher to me because the guy is great. He has talent. And like you said, he won the award in 2021 as a young player. He must have been like 19 years old, I think. And to win that award for the entire country means says a lot. He's been called up constantly, time and time again, for AFCON qualifiers or for any African competition where Uganda plays. And they actually use him. When it gets weird is that he's not starting So he won a best player award, but he's not starting. He always does get like 20 or 30 minutes in the second half. And then here in Austin, he's also playing for FC, though not enough to be on constantly on the first team. So you gotta wonder like what's going on, with him. But but it definitely tells you that this guy is talented and he has a lot to show. And I know for a fact that they love him in Uganda, and his playing style it's very important for them. Has been very important for them. Just unfortunately, Uganda is not the strongest country when it comes to soccer in Africa.
Now, I do want to say this, they are playing for AFCON qualifiers. Definitely, they want to be part of that tournament. I must say this about Bobo. He is a player that, I'm not going to say he's Uganda's current best player, but when he comes on for them, he's made differences. I believe it was in one of the most recent games where he came off the pitch and he had a bit of a hockey assist where he played the ball in to the guy that delivered the actual assist for the winning goal. I believe that match they won it 2-1. Now, and then social media, they were talking about Bobo, and they saw that a page from USA was talking about Bobo, and they were saying, hey, just want to let you know, Bobosi came off the bench and he was doing well. I mean, that was not that long ago, Alex. Remember that?
Yeah, no, I remember. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know he's being important. He's actually been really important for the team, which is why I say, like, okay, if he's he's that great and whatnot, why is he not starting? But then again, we would have to have a lot of knowledge on the entire Uganda roster.
True.
But the fact that we have an important guy like that in our roster for FC too, and that can also play for us in FC main team, I mean that's just great for us.
Love to see it, mate. Now, if you're listening to this on the YouTube version of this, we do have the graphic of Bobosi's games up that are coming up. So we're hyping him up on this show. If you want to catch his games coming up here in the international break, which we're very lucky to not have any actual MLS matches scheduled during this time frame, they play against South Africa September the 6th at 11 a.m. and September the 9th against the Congo at 11 a.m. That time as well. So make sure to check him out, Mr. Bobosi Biarwanga. Now, Alex, another guy that we want to talk about here tonight is Mr. Dani Pereira. Now, he got called up by Venezuela for the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers. They play against Bolivia in Bolivia, and then they play against Uruguay in Venezuela. Now, we did already talk about Mr. Dani Pereira and his call-up, right? Because we were lucky enough to have that information when we recorded in the studio. But we do have a clip now from Coach Josh Wolff from the media availability that took place midweek. Now, we're going to check it out. Here it goes. Now, that was Coach Wolff on Dani Pereira getting called up to the Venezuela national team. Now, I don't know if this was known before, but Coach Wolff letting us know that their altitude room only goes up to 10,000. Dani Pereira having to travel to Bolivia and playing in a stadium that's going to be 13,000 feet above sea level. Alex did let us know that on Sunday in the studio episode that we had. But Alex, I mean, react to this clip, these words from Coach Josh Wolff. I mean, sounds like he's excited for Dani to be able to travel with his country outside of USA.
I mean, yeah, sure. As a coach, you got to be happy for your players to get these opportunities. I mean, I'm sure you always want to have your players, ready to work with your club. But to have these opportunities with their countries is something else. And you saw the effect that it had on Dani, even though he didn't play a single minute in Copa America. Dani came back from Copa America after being a month with Venezuela, and he started delivering assists like crazy, scoring. I mean, there was a change. Finley mentioned it. He went to Copa America as a kid, and he came back as a man. His words. So these types of experiences definitely help you grow as a player, and these challenges. I mean, the CONMEBOL qualifiers, the South American qualifiers, are unique in the world because it's a place where the home games or the location of the games is something that seriously matters. It's not something to take lightly. Like he said, their top training goes to 10,000 feet. In Bolivia, we're going to have to play at 13,000 feet. And that's That's insane. People may take that, oh, well, it might be just a little bit harder to breathe. No, we're talking about people that have to get oxygen tanks to breathe at halftime and after the game because they are not feeling well. So these are extremely hard challenges for your mind and for your body, especially as a pro athlete. And seeing Danny having to go through that is gonna be pretty interesting, assuming he does play, which I think because of all of these conditions, he has a very good chance to play against Bolivia.
Now, Alex, a lot of people on social media, some folks are already hitting me up on Discord. We saw this conversation today a lot. And also yesterday, as we were getting information of these call-ups, folks are asking, hey, who is going to miss out on Austin FC games coming up? Because we play Vancouver this Saturday, right, on the 31st. And then you got Toronto FC right after that. However, there's a break, the international break. Like I said earlier, we're very lucky to not have games scheduled during this window. I know there's MLS teams that are going to play, but Alex, are there any players in your opinion? I know this is all speculation right now, but who do you think is really the player in most danger of missing out any minutes for Austin FC against Toronto? Now let's mention this. Our next segment is going to be the quotes that Josh Wolff had, and he does talk about the defenders that he has chosen, Brendan Heinzek and Matt Hedges. We also mentioned earlier how the three international center backs are a bit out of favor with Josh Wolff. They're not starting center backs in this lineup right now. So, I mean, those guys, like let's say Cascantes, Fatok, and Leo, let's say they get minutes, right? That's not really going to matter. I'm more concerned if Danny Pereira plays in both games and he gets back and he only sees 10 minutes so he can get back into rhythm. So, to my original question, is there anybody here that is in danger of missing out on that Toronto game?
I don't think so. Usually players, well, for like we say, none of the players are finishing their international duty way too close to the Toronto game to miss it. And usually
It's
see
true.
like if the game ends on the 10th, they are flying back on the 11th. Every single player is. So there's still time for you to be back, to have one day at rest after so much traveling, train, and then go into action again. If you're concerned about Danny, but playing both games, honestly, I cannot tell you if that's likely or not, because also some news is that if you remember on the Copa America, there was a little bit of a brawl between the Uruguayan players and Colombian players after Colombia beat them.
Yes, there was.
Yes. So some news came out this week that 5 Uruguayan players were sanctioned, and they will not be eligible for Uruguay to play for several games.
That is correct.
All of them are starters, and they are Darwin Nunez, Rodrigo Betancourt, Matias Oliveira, Ronald Araujo, who is injured anyways, and Jose Maria Jimenez. So,
Madre mía, Jose Maria Jimenez. Wow.
Yes. So this says that Venezuela has a golden opportunity here to do something at home against a weakened Uruguay. And if you tell me, hey, if you need someone to be that's able to get to have the ball, to control the ball, to get control, to make it to intercept, and to move the team forward to attack a weakened Uruguay, to me that's Danny. I understand Venezuela has several players, important players, obviously. And also, Yangel Herrera got injured today in the Girona match. He got out of the match walking, so it may be nothing. He may still be able to be fine for the qualifiers.
No. But I'm not saying because hopefully nothing bad happens. But I'm saying that's Danny Pereira's immediate competition for the position.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You've always told us that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so Yangel is a starting spot for sure for Venezuela. If he is really injured or if he's unable to play fully for both qualifier games, that opens up a spot in the midfield, maybe for Danny, maybe for Cáceres Jr. I don't know, but Danny has more of a chance to play. So maybe he does get to play in Bolivia because of the conditions in the altitude, that they don't want to use all of the starters. And maybe because he, especially after everything that he has done after Copa America with Austin, they can see him more as a useful piece, as a tool to go and attack a weakened Uruguay at home in Venezuela.
Now, question for you, Alex, before we move on to some other Austin FC topics here. Now, you do mention that Uruguay will have 5 key players suspended due to the brawl of the Copa America. And how can you forget that night social media was actually going crazy, right? I see here in the standings of the CONMEBOL qualifiers, Argentina's in first place, right? 15 points. And second is Uruguay, mate, with 13
Yes.
points. Second is Colombia with 12, very close.
Third.
Venezuela, fourth place. Sorry,
Yes.
third. And then in fourth place, Venezuela with 9 points. Now,
Yes.
just 4 away from Uruguay, right? Let's say you beat Bolivia. Venezuela, right? You beat Bolivia. Would you consider a draw against a weak Uruguay to be good, Venezuela right now? Would you consider it to be a bit of a miss with everything going on?
It's kind of bitter to say, to not to be able to say that you beat a weakened Uruguay, especially with 5 starters left out. But the CONMEBOL qualifiers are so hard, so extremely hard, that you are grateful for every point that you get. True. So Bocha Batista was actually on an interview in ESPN today, and he said we only need from 18 to 20 points to qualify. We have 9. So if you're telling me that in this double game window we're gonna have 4 points, we're taking that. No questions asked.
There we go. Danny Pereira, Venezuela. They play Bolivia and Uruguay. So if you want to catch those matches, September 5th at 3 p.m. Central Time, Venezuela takes on Bolivia at 13,000 feet above sea level in El Alto, Bolivia. And then they play on September the 10th at 5 p.m. Central Time. That's against Uruguay in el Estadio Monumental de Maturín in Monagas, Venezuela. I'm sure that's going to be special for Danny Pereira being able to play in his country. I mean, I hope that he's not psyched out of it mentally, but I'm sure this guy is already prepping himself mentally. And this is a big moment for himself, for his family, and for his career. This is really where it starts, and everything he's been working for, mate. And you know more than anybody, Alex, it's all been building up to this moment. So I'm happy for Danny. We've been following this journey for so long. His journey of asylum, his journey of getting the right paperwork, his journey of the lawyer saga. And he's finally able to go out with his country, mate. I'm so excited for these 2 games coming up. Hopefully no injuries. No injuries, brother. Por favor.
Danny and Fede Valverde?
Ooh, the battle of the century, mate. Danny versus Fede Valverde. Hey, you know what? Danny to Barcelona if he does well in this match. Danny to Barcelona. Fírmalo. Hey, fírmalo. I'm sure Danny might like it. But all right, mate. I want to talk about some other Austin FC stuff that's going on now. Before we get to the media midweek, just one little question, mate. Now, a quick note that I had here. Osman Bukhari, $7 million man. He's left off the Ghana squad for AFCON qualifiers. I mean, is there any reason to be concerned for this? I mean, I know there's conversations of him maybe having a fallout with a new coach. I know that MLS being a lower league can't be an excuse when Paintsville gets called up and he plays for the LA Galaxy. Alex, are you concerned that Osman Bukhari is not getting called up, mate?
Concerned, no, because he was getting called up, but he hadn't been playing a single minute. So it's kind of, it was kind of
expected. On the bench.
Yes,
he was on the bench the last 2 games.
And I'm not concerned just because he got, he moved to the US, which a lot of fans did not like because, they see MLS as a lower league, or he was playing Champions League before, he's not now. It was a move that at first impression played against him because MLS is seen as a lower league type of thing, even though he wasn't the best, right? That being said, he got to a new team. He needed time to adapt. He just now got his first goal contribution, right? So it's understandable that after all of this that had been happening in the last couple of months, for a player that had not been seeing minutes, it's understandable that a coach would be like, no, I don't. Why would I call him? Now that he seems to be adapting to Austin, we still got, some way to go. He's not adapted fully yet. But now that he's playing more consistently with Austin, he got his first goal and whatnot. Now he can showcase again what he can do for Ghana, and I'm sure he can be called up again in no time.
Now, I do want to say this for any Austin FC fan out there that's saying, oh, this is problem, this and that. There's another way to look at this, right? Think about this. Osman Bukhari after getting his goal against Nashville post-match, he did speak to the media, and he said that he feels so at home that he doesn't really want to leave training. That's how happy he feels when he's working for the club. I want him to keep building on that. I want that feeling to stay. I would hate for him to, have 2 good games for Austin FC and then leave that kind of atmosphere, leave that kind of mindset, go international with your country. I'm not saying that it's bad to go play for your country. That's 100% great for you, right? Depending on what player it is. Mbappe, we're going to talk about him later. But Osman Bukari being him, staying in Austin right now is good, in my opinion. He's gonna build on that energy that he had against Nashville. He's gonna connect with his teammates even more, and he's gonna work with the coaching staff to get him at that level that he needs to be in order to carry this team onto a successful playoff run, and then have a successful playoff performance, depending on who you get, how you navigate that best of 3. So if you're out there concerned why Osman is not getting called up, I'm telling you right now, just chill. It's probably best that he stays home anyways. Right, Alex?
Yes, I agree.
Honestly, man. All right. Now, guys, Alex, let's move on to some midweek media availability conversation that happened with Coach Josh Wolff. Now, we heard his comments on Dani Pereira and the 10,000, 13,000 altitude that he's going to be having to work at here soon against Bolivia. But here's Josh Wolff talking about, where Austin FC is at in the standings right now, and, kind of table watching other teams, what points they get. So let's see what Coach Wolff had to say. Boom, Josh Wolff, saying that playoffs are near, intensity is going to start to rise, and even referees are going to start looking at games a bit different. So, Alex, any thoughts on what Coach Wolff had to say there, mate?
No, I think he's right. He's right on the fact that we know there are not many games left to get the points that we need. We know that we are in a very tight spot right now in 9th place, and we know that we have to get results, particularly at home.
Yep.
So I don't care if we're facing 6th place Vancouver. I don't care if we're facing first place in the entire league. I don't care. I just know that we need points, and the players need to know that. They need to feel that, and the pressure needs to be there to actually accomplish the goal of getting to playoffs.
No, pressure needs to be there 100%, mate, if this team wants to even sniff playoffs, right? And I think pressure's already there right now. I know that the team listens to the fan base, but they don't listen all 100%. And as they should. They don't need to be listening to what fan A has to say, what fan B has to say. It's good that they hear what the fan base is genuinely saying, but don't follow it, word for word, right? You want to follow what the coaching staff is saying, what your teammates are also in instructing you, in what advice they are giving you. And it seems like the players know very well what's at stake here, and they want to deliver playoffs to this fan base because it is very demanding, and the players know that now 100%. I don't think that at any moment do the Austin FC players think that this fan base is mediocre or is going to take any other result that is not playoffs, because that's what playoffs is what's been said that is going to be delivered, is said that that it has been the goal for so long. So this fan base is going to hold them to it 100%.
Yeah, no, I don't think they think that this fan base is mediocre or anything. But Seba has said sometimes the pressure is not there, or sometimes it's not enough. So let's make sure the pressure is there.
Yeah, but Seba isn't the whole team. So what Seba thinks, I don't think all the other what Seba thinks is not what Matt Hedges thinks. I'll definitely say that, right?
Yeah.
But hey, here's what Josh Wolff thinks on the new additions to Austin FC, and back then having light numbers, and now being able to run some decent practices. So let's see what Coach Wolff had to say. Mate, it was survive, survive, survive until the summer. And it really seems like this team was able to do just that. The reinforcements have arrived, just like Josh Wolff said. And, we are all very critical of this team. We hold these guys to a very high standard because we pay premium dollar for Q2 Stadium's atmosphere and everything that goes on at that place, Alex, right? But, Josh Wolff pretty much saying like, hey, the guys came in. Mikel Dessler, one of the guys that has been doing the best. But what are your thoughts on what Coach Wolff had to say? I mean, he does seem a bit happier. Maybe his job got a bit easier. And he, just like he said, 6 or 7 games where they think have been good performances.
Well, for one, that he seems happy, and I'm glad he seems happy, because you can tell it's always better to talk to or see a more relaxed Josh than have short, straight, not so great answers, right? So the fact that he's feeling more relaxed with results, because he could feel relaxed without it, and that would not be okay. The fact that he's relaxed with results and the team seems happy and they feel like, okay, we now have something to move on with. It's great. Like he said, to me, Mikel Dessler has been an amazing signing already, particularly because of what Josh pointed out, because he seems so soccer smart. I understand 100%. We did not get, the right back of one of the three top teams in France or in England, but it was such a great sign to get from a right back that is used to playing the first division in France, that it becomes so impactful already for us.
Now, when we posted this information on the We're Watching TV Instagram, some folks didn't believe, or they had to, have a double take, and they asked, was Mikel Dessler really free? And yeah, he was a free signing.
Yes.
The team Rodo waited for his contract to pretty much run out in the summer with Toulouse. And when he approached them, he, pitched them the project that is Austin FC. And Mikel Dessler got married and said, yeehaw, let's go to Texas. And now he's here. And I couldn't agree with you more, mate, when you say that his soccer IQ is just levels above what we have. Now, I want to give a shout out to Hector. He is one of the most decorated players that we have.
Oh, yes.
3-time MLS champ. But the level of reading the game is a bit different from what you see Hector Jimenez and any other defender on the pitch that we have, and Mikel Dessler. And one of my favorite things about Mikel is that he's tall, he's very physical, he's good in the air, and he's good with his feet. He's also very fast. Yes. So I have to agree here with Coach Wolff. Mikel Dessler has been a fantastic signing.
No, and that's the thing for me. Like, you usually expect fullbacks to be great because they're fast. And Mikel, he's fast, but he's not the fastest or anything. But his IQ makes up for everything. He just knows where to be and how to be and what to do, and that's just a great signing to me. With Bukari, it's kind of like a little bit the opposite. With Bukari, you get tons of speed and tons of, the quality is there. And I'm not saying he doesn't have a good soccer IQ. You're just saying that because he hasn't settled in enough with the team, you
True.
see more of the speed than of the soccer IQ. So to me, it's interesting that we do have good tools right now. We're just trying to get them to work together. That's Coach Wolff's job. But so far, at the very least, we definitely seem better than to what we were previous to the summer.
100%. Now, last thing I want to say on Mikel Dessler is that a good sign of a great defender is when they have a successful tackle, or when they have a successful interception or do a successful block, something like that, defensive action, and they celebrate it like if they scored. Yes. That's the sign of a great defender. And Mikel Dessler, one of the recent matches, he's able to clip a dangerous ball in, and he's able to stop it. He clears it, and he celebrates it like a goal. Reminded me so much of when Marcelo performed against Arjen Robben, and he just cuts it like a simple pass. He sends it out to the throw-in. Marcelo beats his chest, and Arjen Robben is like, "What? Come on, dude! It's just a throw-in." But no, it's that feeling of performing whenever you're back there. It's something about defending that it has to run through your blood, and if you don't have it, get out of the kitchen, man, because it's gonna get too hot for you. I'm gonna say that.
No, I agree. You just reminded me of, it was the same thing in Copa America, the Mexico versus Venezuela match. Last play of the game, our right back Aramburu has a slide tackle that gets the ball out of he makes it that it goes to the corner kick, but he celebrated like a goal. Like he was happy, he was energetic, he was like, I'm here and you're not passing through me, and that got us the game. So it's like that's definitely the goal version for the defenders.
It's something about it, mate. It's something about it. Now, if you're listening to this, make sure to take a shot. If you're 21 and up, I made a Real Madrid comparison at minute 36, something like that. So make sure to take the shot. H made a comparison to Real Madrid on the show. But Alex, I have another video here of Coach Wolff. Now, this is a quote that's very interesting to me, mate. I went out of my way and I posted it on the Wilson TV social medias, and it's Coach Wolff kind of calling out the 3 international center backs, but they don't start for Austin FC. Now we kind of talked about it, we hinted at it at the beginning of the pod, so let's hear what Coach Wolff had to say on Svatak's availability for Saturday. But then he kind of goes in on the 3 center backs. I'm talking about Cascante, Väisänen, and Alexander Svatak. Let's see what he had to say. Coach Wolff. We literally mentioned this minutes ago, mate. He looks happy. He looks cocky again. He's saying like, hey, yeah, we have 3 international center backs and they don't start for us. That's the kind of team we have right now. And I want to send a shout out to Brendan Hines. I want to send a shout out to Matt Hedges, especially Matt Hedges, a guy that has proven me wrong this season. Brendan Hines, we've been giving him his shout since he first came to this team, but because we saw the hustle, he's literally only making 200,000, maybe just above that for Austin FC. That's a steal for the amount of minutes and clean sheets, and maybe not the penalties, but everything else that you've gotten from Mr. Brendan Hines. But in that clip, Alex, we hear Coach Wolff pretty much say that Alexander Svatak also has to show that he's willing to want to start for Austin FC. Maybe that's more of a concern for me than anything that I've gotten from any news coming out of Austin FC this week. What's going on with Alexander? But Alex, I mean, your overall thoughts on the 3 center backs that Austin FC currently has that are internationals? Yeah, that's great. But they don't play for you. They don't start.
I mean, yeah, but just like the fact that they're international doesn't mean that they should start in your club. And I think what the best example is Leo Väisänen, because Leo, yeah, he gets called up for Finland and he sees minutes with Finland, but we know that in Austin he hasn't been the best or the best option. You always see Julio and Heinzike or Hedges. In Leo, it hasn't been that great of a CB. So just because you get called up for international play does not mean that you really are the best option for your club. I would try to I want to think that Alexander really is more about the heat and still not being ready physically, not mentally, but physically on this team. Because of what we saw in the Euros. In the Euros, I saw a really good and smart center back that we could really use. To me, if we get the Svatak that we saw in the Euros, he should be a starter in Austin FC, no doubt. So
a big if, really mate. A big if.
So to me, it's just I really hope it's just about a matter about settling in to the team and to Texas and whatnot. Beyond that, I don't have much to say against Brayden Hindsight. Just like to say as if someone else should be above him, starting for him. Hedges, he has been great the last couple of games. He's not the loudest player when it comes to defensive actions, but he gets the job done. So you can't really say anything against him at the moment. So as for now, We have three international players, but Leo is not started for us right now. Zvatak is not, and Julio, surprisingly, that's the most curious one, is not either. So
Yeah.
nothing to complain there.
On Julio though, just real quick, Josh Wolff did say that he has been the Austin FC number one center back for so long, so he expects Cascante to be ready to compete. And I want to give Julio a bit of a shout here because when Austin FC defeated Nashville this past weekend, Cascante went on his Instagram story, posted a screenshot of the full-time graphic that the club posted, and he just put a simple green heart and +3, you know, giving his support to the team, you know, showing that he's happy with the win. And of course you want to be, but if we're being real, Alex, I mean, even you and I, when we play 7v7, we want to play. We want to go out there and play. And these are professional players. You know that they feel some kind of way when they're not called up. And like Josh Wolff said, we hope Cascante is ready to battle because Austin has the depth that they've never seen before at center back. Josh Wolff said that himself in that clip. And really, they don't know how to act. They don't know how to navigate with these waters. But it's good that we have cheap center backs performing. And it's weird that we have our high-profile guys getting called up and not even seeing any minutes with the club. Weird times for Austin FC. But, hey, we're getting wins. We're getting points. We're getting clean sheets. So let's just go with the flow, baby. Let's go with the flow. Now, shifting gears, right? We talked about Josh Wolff. John Gallagher also addressed the media in this week's media availability. Some interesting questions were thrown his way, right? We heard Josh Wolff kind of say that they watch other teams at this point of the season. John Gallagher was also very clear on that. Little short clip here, 20 seconds. Let's hear what the Irishman had to say, John Gallagher, on whether or not him and the other boys, his teammates, watch the table during this part of the season. I swear, dude. I swear, John Gallagher is always one of the most honest guys when he talks to the media. I love hearing John Gallagher, and you've got to speak with him multiple times, so that must be even cooler. But when John Gallagher says there, he says, "I'd be lying if I say no," right? So the guys are finishing a match, going into the locker room, pulling out their iPhone, whatever is the latest version right now, and saying, "Dang, this team won," or "Yes, this team dropped points. Yes, this team lost today." I mean, any thoughts, Alex, on what John Gallagher had to say there?
I love it. I love it because if you hear the last whistle of the game and you go into the locker room and the first thing you do is not think about, okay, I'm done, I want to rest, I'm gonna take my cleats off. No, if the first thing you do is go to your phone and see what the results are to see how you did, it means that you care. It means that you're worried about what's going on, and it really means that you really, really want to get to those playoff spots. So that's all I need for the team, because I really do want us to get back into playoff position and not as a wild card. I want to be higher than that.
100%. Now, I couldn't disagree. I couldn't agree more also with what you had to say there. Now, one more clip from John Gallagher. Also, this will be the last clip though that we'll have here on today's episode, ones that I got together from the midweek availability. But a bit of a fun question here to end it, mate, but also very interesting, the answer that John Gallagher gave, because he said family comes first. He's going to be with his wife no matter what. And if he has to miss any games, well, you know what? I'll stop there. Let's hear what John Gallagher had to say. Now, John Gallagher, mate, 100%. You got to be there for the family. You got to be there for the wife first, bro. But if it comes down to it, hopefully not. Let's see if those magic remedies that John Gallagher was talking about work, and they're able to, you know, have their beautiful baby during this international window that Austin FC has. But Alex, I mean, any bit of concern there from maybe John Gallagher missing any minutes? And after you give me your answer, I have a backup question for it. So any concern there, bro?
No. I mean, honestly, even if it means that we lose the game after that, I cannot, under any good conscience, say that I wish it would be different. I definitely, if he does end up having his baby at a moment where he has to miss games, uh, hey, I'm all for it. Go ahead, be with your wife, be with your kids. I mean, that's all. That's all you need to do.
100%, man. Now, let's say John Gallagher has to miss one game, if anything, possibly two, right? Possibly. But it sounds like Gallagher wants to be there for the team. However, he is going to be with his family first, just so we hear the Irishman say. But my backup question that I had for you, Alex, is Jader O'Brien is probably going to get those minutes if there's any to be scooped up from John Gallagher. But do you think that CJ Fodry, with his recent performance as well as in FC2, I believe he has 9 goal contributions in the last couple of games. Do you think CJ is making a bit of question, making a bit of a fight for some first team minutes here soon, because he's been with FC2 for a couple games now? You think maybe it's time to bring him up?
First 10 minutes, yes. Starting position, no. I would definitely start Jader. No questions asked. I think he's a guy that has suffered from bringing a new DP because he was playing well before the Bucati. But I mean, that's how the soccer life is. But I definitely trust Jader to be very useful and helpful if he has to start. And it makes me happy to think that if John is not gonna be there, we have Jader, and behind Jader for a sub, we have CJ. I have absolutely no problem knowing that we have that depth at the moment.
100%, mate. Now, the stat here posted by the North End Pod says this. In his last 6 appearances, talking about CJ Fodry, with the team, CJ Fodry has 9 goal contributions, 5 goals, and 4 assists. The whole squad is playing well, but Fodry has been a significant boost to the Austin FC2 playoff push. And a bit of a change for Austin FC2. Last season, they were champions. They were the team to beat. They were road warriors when it came to the playoffs. They stopped Columbus from getting the double, the MLS Cup and the MLS Next Pro Cup. I mean, and now they're fighting for playoffs, bro. I mean, they are really, really pushing. They won their last 3. There have been some dramatic finishes. They just beat Colorado Rapids 4-3. Yes. We had Alex at that game. He caught some incredible photos. They're up on our Instagram. You can check them out. But I mean, Alex, any shout, any praise for Brett Utley and his Austin FC side before we move on to some other topics?
Oh, a lot of praise. A lot of praise. I mean, after they became champions of MLS Next Pro last season, we obviously saw a lot of players leave because it's what happens, especially in a second team. And we saw, that the team took a hit. They weren't as good, obviously. One of the major reasons was obviously Lass, for instance. He was huge last season, and they don't have him this season. But the fact that we're now seeing a team that, despite taking those hits, they are still fighting and grinding and being great and being better, especially with a guy like CJ. I mean, you just gotta be proud about your second team. That just like that, the mentality that second team has without all players, with new players, just in general, tells you, hey, this is amazing. And this is something that we can really benefit on when it comes to the club in general, if we keep growing this in 5 to 10 years.
Now, it is a feeder team. It is a development league. So, you can't put too much pressure on this side, on this coach to win the games, to win the cup again, right? So you got to take the good and the bad with the MLS Next Pro. However, we are very lucky to not only have had the amazing pool of talent that FC had last season and, all the cool games that we got to witness at Palmer Field. But this season, we also have some very talented players. I'm talking about Irvin Torres. I'm talking about Jimmy, CJ Ramirez. I'm talking about De Anda, of course. And also the new guys that they're bringing in. I'm talking about Bonachera, Nico, just a bunch of guys that are also still with the team from before. Sebastian Pinot. Is he going to make the move? Is he going to make that jump? I feel like he's been like this for so long. I want Pinot to make the jump. I mean, at the beginning of the season. Remember, Alex, when folks were saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
is Pino going to be a 9 option for the first team?" And those arguments died out pretty quick. I will say that they died out pretty quick. But okay, mate. Vancouver is up next, brother, for Austin FC. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. I have here the team that last faced Vancouver away July 2023. It was a 2-1 loss. This is the team here. Maxi Urruti was up at the 9. Fagundes was on the field. Drusi was at the cam. Ethan Finley was a protagonist at the right wing. Valencia, Owen, the defense. You had Kip Keller there. Interesting stuff there. Interesting
Nick
stuff.
Lima.
Nick Lima.
Man, that's half a team gone.
Half a team gone, brother. You said it. And then you see the Nashville lineup that Austin FC had just put out this past match day. You have Gallagher, where Fagundes was one set. Drusi taking that Maxi Urruti position with the false 9. Do you like it? Do you not? Bukari, the new Ethan Finley, apparently on this lineup. And then Danny, Ring, Owen, star-studded midfield now that Austin FC currently has. And the defense a bit different. Of course, Biru, Hedges, Heinzek, and Dessler. Not a single player the same from that back four from the 2023 lineup that faced Vancouver. So any prediction, any thoughts? We know that Brian White is going to be out for this game on concussion protocol. Probably a huge lifeline for Austin FC. However, Alex, you and I both know, a lot of the fans out there know, that he's not their only threat. They still have Ryan Gauld. They still have Fafa Pico. And they're going to try to hit Austin FC on the counter every chance that they get. But now they have to face Mikel Dessler. Now they have to face Guilherme Biru. So I wanted to say this tonight. Very important that I say it. I can put up any stat head-to-head, Austin FC versus Vancouver from the past. But to me, I don't know if this is a hot take. They don't matter. Why? Because this is a new team. And I know Josh Wolff wanted us to get away from that narrative midweek. To me, this is a new side. For crying out loud, the back four is completely different. The attacking options are completely different. Any stat that I present to you, mate, from back then to right now, I'm not comfortable that they're gonna correlate, because to me, this Austin FC side is completely different. They're gonna have a higher chance to defeat this Vancouver side than they ever had before, and I'm excited for this game. With Brian White being out, I do feel more, excited to see what the final score is going to be. I think it's going to favor Austin FC at the end of the day, but I'm still cautious with the players that I mentioned, Ryan Gauld, Fafa Pico. But overall, Alex, I mean, how are you seeing this game coming in?
I mean, it's
with what we know now.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a little bit of what you say. Like, yeah, this is a different team. Definitely, I'm feeling, more confident with guys like Mikel Dessler, for instance. We just spoke about him. Guilherme Biru, the way Danny has been playing lately. Alex Ring too. Owen Wolff, who can run all around the field. The downsides to me are that if we play Drusi at the 9 again, it's like, it's okay, but it's not great. Like, Drusi does not create that heavy presence up front that a number 9 does. And with a team like Vancouver, they are heavy on the attack, and I think with a team like that, you may want to be a little bit more cautious defensively, especially on the counter, right? So I don't know if you really want to play Drusi, or if you want to play a guy like Sardes or Rubio, who can hold up the ball a little bit more. And then you got Bukari, who is a great player, obviously a lot of talent, but that is not settled in yet. That can have individual moments, but is not part of the system yet. So there are some weaknesses that Austin FC has, even though overall we have a better team. But I think that with everything going on, with Josh Wolff happy apparently, and with the team really checking on the table, like the positions and whatnot, and that they know that we don't have many games left, I think this team can pull off like a 2-1 result at home.
I can see that too, actually. 2-1 result at home. I don't know if it'll be a clean sheet, although Brian White not, playing this match can make that a bit more of a reality. So we'll see what happens. 2-1.
Yep.
I'm actually okay with that. 2-0. Like I said, a clean sheet will be tough, but We'll see what happens there. Now, Vancouver, just real quick, they did recently play against Pacific in the Canadian Championship. You see the stats here on the screen. Vancouver 1-0 against Pacific, aggregate 2-0. Ryan Gault got the goal in minute 11. Now, Brian White with the concussion protocol. You see here 18 fouls from Pacific. Is Vancouver going to show up a little bit banged up? We'll see what happens there. But overall, they were overall very well rested up until this match. Like here you see on your screen, August 27th, playing Pacific. So we'll see what kind of team they bring on to Q2 Stadium here on Saturday, August the 31st. Austin versus Vancouver. We'll see what happens there, mate. But I want to shift gears, brother. I want to talk about the last thing here tonight, the new format of the Champions League, brother. Now, very important that we talk about this because it's worldwide news. Times are changing once again for the Champions League format. It had already changed once before, and now it does once again. Now, here on your screen, you'll see the league phase draw. I know a lot of folks are very confused as to what's going on. You see pot 1, you see pot 2, pot 3, pot 4, and all these new different fixtures that these teams have, right? You have right here the full league phase draw there. But as we're going through these different graphics, you see Real Madrid's fixtures on screen at home against Dortmund, Milan, Leipzig, Stuttgart, and then away against Liverpool, Atalanta, Lille, Barcelona's. They have Bayern, Atalanta, Young Boys, and then away Dortmund, Benfica, Red Star, Bucari's old team, interesting there, and Monaco. You know, we have here cities, Bayern's, Dortmund's, Liverpool's, Inter de Milan's. So, Alex, I mean, where do you want to start with this, bro? New format, new Champions League. How are you taking it in?
So when it came out, I gave up on reading who has to play who, just because we're so used to having a group stage, and you kind of easily remember who is on the which 4 teams are on the group, so you can remember easily who's going to play against who. This time, it's a whole mess that I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to put the effort in it. I'm just going to check the app, the schedule, and see which day has good matches, and that's it. And I'm going to watch it. So going from seeing who plays against who, I'd rather talk about how this new Champions League format is, because this is what people are not really understanding too well. So to put into very simple terms, the Champions League is made out of 36 clubs right now, right? No more group stage. It's more of a league format. What does that mean? That it doesn't matter who you play against. Every single team is going to play against 8 other teams. In the league format, the first 9 teams will go through the next round. Now, from 9th place to 24th, they're going to play for playoff spot, essentially. There are playoff games to go through the next round. And from the 25th to the 36th spot, they are eliminated from the Champions League. So the way I see it is kind of like an MLS even. You know, you get your table, you go through definitely for like in MLS is from 1st to 7th. Then you get your playoff spots from the 8th and 9th place, and then the real qualification starts. So that's all you need to know. You're just going to play 8 different teams. Every single game should matter because every single game is it means points for you to be higher up the table, points that you may need. Doesn't matter who you're facing against. You're not playing 2-legged games with every single team. So definitely play out your best. There's going to be a lot of entertainment, a lot of new games. Like, for instance, Madrid is going to play against Milan, something that is not seen regularly in the UCL. And it makes it for an exciting game, an historic game. And we have several games like that. So it's definitely going to be really entertaining, and it should have always a good match to watch.
That's true. Now, I have here 5 reasons why the new UEFA Champions League format will be better than ever, according to the Champions League and UEFA official. So let's see if they're biased, right?
Yeah.
They say, number 1, more top clashes from the first match day. Number 2, every game counts.
It's
also true.
Yeah.
Number 3, Improved competitive balance. We'll see.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Number 4, was it number 4, number 5? This is
No,
4.
4.
Match day 8, 18 matches on one night. That's insane.
That is insane, and I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. And then the final one they have here, increase in solidarity payments. So interesting stuff there from the new format of the Champions League. Now, very interesting. They had Zlatan Ibrahimovic kind of do a promo video. I thought it was very
That was
well
a
put
great
together.
video.
It was a great video. I saw it like 3 or 4 times. I wonder if Zlatan maybe has a future in acting in Hollywood. Maybe the new Arnold Schwarzenegger. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Zlatan is the governor of California one day. We've seen weirder stuff happen before in that state. But I mean, it's hard to really predict anything, brother, because we still have to see a lot of stuff play out. You know, I'll bring up Real Madrid's fixtures, right? Maybe to be less biased, right? We'll look at Bayern's. Bayern plays PSG, Benfica. It was at Dinamo Zagreb, Feyenoord, Shakhtar, Barcelona. Is that Aston Villa right there?
Yeah,
right. That's Villa.
Feyenoord
So
and Shakhtar.
And then one other one, a little funny one here, a bit of a funny reaction that we saw from PSG's owner. PSG has to play Man City, Atleti, PSV, Girona, Bayern, Arsenal, RB Leipzig, and Stuttgart. I mean, I don't know if they could have gotten a harder draw.
I think that's FC Salzburg, not Leipzig.
Oh, okay. Well, is it? Oh, okay. You're right. It is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It has the similar logo. You're right. It is.
Yeah, they're both Red Bull teams. But yeah,
right.
So that's a part of like I don't think I would agree with the part of being, equally competitive on what it is. That PSG schedule is tough. That one is really tough.
I agree. It is very tough. But hey, they got the money. They wanted the smoke, and now they got it. So let's see if PSG. Let's see if PSG is able to handle everything that's going to be thrown their way. I mean, maybe Barcelona. We could talk about theirs real quick. They play Bayern, Atalanta, Young Boys.
Guys, they get Bayern. Oh my god.
They got Dortmund, mate, Benfica, Red Star Belgrade, and then Monaco. I think Barca will be, with Hansi Flick and what we've seen from them in early La Liga this season, you'd think that they'd be all right in this group.
Yeah, they should. They should be all right, except with Bayern. I mean, but yeah, besides that, they should be good.
Liverpool's mate. They have Madrid at home, Leverkusen. Was that Lille?
Lille's.
And
yeah.
then they have Lille,
Bologna.
and then Bologna. We have Salzburg there. AC. One's RB Leipzig.
Yeah,
that's RB Leipzig. Because so that has 2 Bulls. PSV and then Girona. Liverpool fans maybe okay with this.
I love that those fixtures. I mean, that's a part that I like about about this new format. You don't know, because group stage you usually get just 2 good teams, maybe a third, and then one that sucks. With this, you get so many great games right off the bat, competitive games. I mean, that's the exciting part.
So is this maybe a rip-off Super League, mate?
It's 100% a rip-off. And even they hinted at it in the video with Zlatan.
In the video, bro.
It was so hilarious.
So shameless. He says,
They laughed at Florentino's. They laughed in Florentino's face.
They did. They did.
Wow. Yeah, they
really did,
100% a rip-off of the Super League.
Now
that being said, we
do
have to mention that after the whole chaos with Superliga, one downside of this new format is that definitely there are so many more games that we should expect a whole lot more injuries in players. So that is going to hurt, particularly the small teams, particularly teams that don't have as much money, and it may affect the quality of the games, because you maybe won't see a full healthy Real Madrid side against a full healthy Liverpool side.
Yeah, there will definitely be a price to pay for more games played, mate. We definitely agree on that. Now, before we get out of here, Shout out to the Dortmund fans that we have in the chat. Their fixtures are Barcelona at home, Shakhtar, Celtic. Who's this, Alex? This black and white.
That one I
logo in
don't
the
know,
bottom.
actually.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do our homework on that one. Madrid away. Is it Club Bruges? Brussels, or is that Club Bruges?
I think it's pronounced Bruges. I don't speak French in Belgium.
Thing.
Yeah.
Dinamo Zagreb and then Bologna. So pretty even fixtures for Dortmund.
Yeah.
Now they do have a new coach though, Nuri Sahin, ex-Real Madrid player back in the day. So we'll see how he does, mate. But Alex, before we get out of here, brother, anything else you want to add on to the pod? I mean, we talked Austin, we talked Champions League, international call-ups, Vancouver coming up. Anything else before we jump out of the pod?
No, just to say, stay tuned, because we're having a lot of content when it comes to pods in English and Spanish. Obviously the videos are coming back. The hype up reels that B does. My previews, my pre-match and post-match videos for tomorrow. Everything's coming back. We're back in season, taking the best that we can out of the season before it ends. Hopefully, it won't end October 19th. Because we'll make the playoffs. So, but we'll see.
I'll tell you what, mate, I'm having a lot more fun this year than I did last year at this time. So we already equaled those post-League Cup wins. Let's see if we can continue building on that. And of course, like I said earlier in the podcast, we're on a real deal playoff hunt, and the boys better be up for it. But I'm Hernan. That's my G Football Critic. Alex, we're going to get out of here, and we'll see you soon. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good work week, and we'll see you soon.